Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Read, share, repeat, where we discuss books from the perspective of an aspiring fantasy author. Me, Carrie Share. And welcome to a week in my life. Hey y'all, today is Monday, March 24th, and I think I owe you guys a little bit of an explanation. The long and the short of it is I am burnt out as hell, or I have been. I haven't talked about it as much on this channel, but I have talked about it a lot on my other channel. My school right now is very intense. I am taking business law and global dimensions in business, and the workload is way more intense than any term I've been through thus far. And I think a lot of that is to do with I'm getting in the latter half of my degree program, and it just is what it is. And so I've been slumping, not just in reading, which I have finally accepted that I have been slumping ever since I got back from vacation, but with my writing and with like my energy levels at home and everything. I've just been so like worried about this school term and everything else that I wouldn't say it's a depressive episode because I haven't been depressed. I've just been so like, I've been burnt out is what it is. Or just overly preoccupied with school that I haven't been able to lend any sort of mental energy to anything else. But I am in a reading slump. That is certainly true. When I got back from vacation, I DNF'd 3 books in a row, and I think that triggered the slump. I think all 3 books that I DNF'd for legit reasons. But since then, I've had nothing but struggles to read. I finished 1 book right at the beginning of the month. Actually, it was a novella, so that was really easy. And really nothing since. I've been slogging my way through a book that I already know I like, which is The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. I've read it before. I'm just reading it to annotate it. I know that I like it, and yet I'm struggling to pick it up and turn the pages. And then in an attempt to get myself back on schedule, I also picked up Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence so I could do a series review of it. I read the first 10% and then haven't thought about it since. I also read the first 5% of Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. I'm liking it, but feel absolutely no draw to read. I ended up having to send a bunch of library books back after my hold or my loan elapsed because I wasn't reading. Okay, so the big ones were Malice by John Gwynne. I was really looking forward to that one, but I remember opening it and seeing it was over 600 pages and just being like, I can't. Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erickson. I did start that one. I think I got 11 or 12% in, but I was so the slump was so powerful that is a very intense, high epic fantasy with a lot of concepts. I wasn't getting it. And so I let that one elapse. And then The North Wind by Alexandria Warwick, which I read the first 10% of and was really hating virulently. I got a good idea for a book review series on my other channel about how to read critically that I thought I would use that book for. But again, because of the slump, I never felt compelled to pick it back up. So fortunately, I'm feeling like I'm starting to get back to normal. I'm feeling ready to make videos again. I'm ready to start getting back to organizing my time and my evenings, and I hope I'm getting back into reading. So today I picked up Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer, and unfortunately this one already isn't going super well either. It's another YA romantasy, but we'll see. The good thing is that it's easy to read. 10% went by like nothing. And then I'm hoping after I finish that one that I will get to A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows, which again is a romantasy, but it's a queer romantasy with two men as the couple. So I'm hoping that entices me more, even though it is a romantasy. And then I would like to finish Ashes of the Sun and then one of my physical reads as well. Oh my gosh, this month has just been a disaster all around. You know what's funny is last year it was almost exactly the same. I had a really good reading month in January, a really good reading month in February, and then everything just started crashing by March and into April. Anyway, my plans are to read at least one book this week and start getting myself back on track. I'll probably migrate all of my content plans for this month into April. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the slump. And yeah, I'm just gonna vlog my week as I try and get myself back on track. Hello, good morning. It is now Wednesday morning. I didn't update yesterday, mostly because I really just did not feel up to filming, to be honest with you. But it was still a really productive day reading-wise. I got a ton of reading done. I read a chapter out of my textbook, required reading, and then I read up to the 25% mark of Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a YA romantasy. It's pretty standard fare. I'm not really loving it, but I'm not like hating it enough to like throw it aside either. In fact, I'm feeling like really motivated to finish for no other reason than I'm determined to dig my way out of this slump, even though I'm not really loving it. I mean, YA and romantasy are the two categories that are almost guaranteed that I won't like. So it's not really the book's fault. It's just me, again, picking up books because they're popular, not because they appeal to me directly. So there is that. Like I said, I'm about 25% of the way through. It's a very easy read. The main male love, or who I assume will be the love interest, is edgelord. And that's the first time I was like, okay, this is for teenagers. This is definitely for teenagers. Couldn't be me, but each to their own. So after I hit the 25% mark of that, I kind of set it aside because I didn't have my reading journal with me, and I like to pause at 10, 25, 50, and 100%, obviously at 100%, to kind of take notes, and I didn't have my reading journal with me to do that. So I set that aside and then picked up Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. This was my March random draw out of my TBR Mimic, and I'm really liking it, actually. I was a little bit nervous. I've been striking out a lot with white male fantasy authors for various reasons, and so I was a little bit nervous about this one, but it's actually hitting. I really like the setting. I think that it's really well thought out and immersive. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very immersive, and I would love like a TV show built off of this book, and I'm only 55 pages in, so I'm 10% of the way in that it's almost a 600-page book, so it's gonna take me a little bit of time to get through it, but it's so nice to be liking a book again. Oh my god. So I hit 10% in that, and then again, because I didn't have my notebook with me, I put it down. I didn't have a lot of time left, but I also need to be reading A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows, because I took that out of the library on the same day I took Defy the Night, and I only got to read like the first page, but I was kind of digging the writing style. I took a lot of notes just on that first page of what I liked about it, so I think that could be a good one. It's also kind of long for a romantasy, but oh well. And then I went home and I updated my reading notebook, but when I'm at home, I want to be reading a physical book, and so I returned to The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker that I have been slogging my way through all month. I shouldn't say slog, because I really do like it. I've read it before. This is my reread. I'm annotating it. But like, just the slump has made me like completely uninterested in picking up anything. So I started it at the beginning of the month, really at the end of February, and I'm still working my way through it. I'm not even halfway through it yet, but what are you you doing, son?
Okay, sorry. Someone pulled up behind me to drop something off, so I had to jump out of my car and open the building. Anyway, so I'm reading physically The Bone Chips. I'm still really liking it. It's just taking me a really long time to get through it. Even though I had like an hour and a half last night, I only read like 30 pages. And I do think part of that is annotating, but also part of that is just the way that it's written. It is a little bit dense, but I really like the writing style, and that's not a complaint at all. But it does does take a little bit longer to get through for me. Currently now, I went from 0 to, well, I guess 1 technically, to 3 books that I'm in the middle of, and I'm really interested in getting back into A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. Up until this point, I've only finished 1 book in March, and that was a novella. So we'll see how many I can cram in here in these last 5 days. Hoping at least 1. Defy the Night, because it is really easy to get through. Would really love to finish The Bone Chips, and that might be it, because Ashes of the Sun and A Strange and Stubborn Endurance are both pretty long, and that may just end up being what it is. I am going to start my day, and I will hopefully check in with you later this evening.
Hey y'all, it is now Friday afternoon at quitting time. I am just now leaving work, and I realized earlier that I hadn't given y'all an update really, and I don't think I will be doing much recording this evening, so I figured I would do it now before I pick up my kids from daycare and start all that whole process. Today I finished Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer. I didn't like it, but that's not really a surprise. None of the components were made for me to like. It's not really the book's fault. I tend to just kind of give blanket 3s whenever I do read these, but there were a few things that niggled me in particular about this book. The main female character in particular, I didn't really love her characterization, or lack thereof, actually, as the case may be. I think I'm going to end up giving it a 2.5. It's pretty standard YA romantasy fare. I just didn't really like the main the main female character, and I didn't think the main male character was a bit of like an edgelord. So again, didn't love it, but didn't expect to either. And if you are wondering why I keep reading these books that I know I won't like, I actually made an entire video about that this week on my writing channel, which I will link here, about why writers should read books that they don't like, or they don't expect to like, because it is actually useful for writers to be widely read, even in things that they do not like. We'll just leave it at that. And then I got to the 10% mark of A Strange and Stubborn Endurance, which I am really liking. The writing style is just in every way for me. It is, the voice is like, I wish I could emulate it, and just the very proper manner of speaking. I want to write a book one day with this kind of voice and style of prose. I'm really, really engaged by it. I was not expecting a sexual assault scene in the second chapter, so trigger warning. But apart from that surprise, like I said, I'm really enjoying it. I have 6 days left on my loan, so I have to finish it really quickly, but I'm already planning a couple of videos just based around this one book. One for my writing channel, just focusing on the first page, which I thought was really well done and well written, very concise while conveying a lot of information. And then I'm thinking I probably will do like a full review as well, but I haven't decided. I was going over my content calendar, and I'm really unhappy with the content I have so far like planned for this month. So I'm kind of thinking about scrapping most of it, but we're already almost to April and I need content. So we'll see how it pans out. I'm definitely doing a cozy reset like always, and I definitely am planning on doing that annotation video for Gideon.
that is still like set in stone. I just don't know when. But everything else, I'm thinking about just like throwing in the garbage and reconsidering how I'm going to do my content. It just all seems so boring and useless, and like I'm not adding anything to the space, and I very much want to add to the space, because otherwise what am I doing here? I think that's it in terms of reading for today and yesterday. And then yesterday I also got past the 50% point of The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. I feel like I'm starting to get my groove back a little bit with physical reading, and so I'm hoping to have that finished by Monday, which would be March 31st, so I could count it towards March for my reading stats. If I can do that, and I can finish A Strange and Stubborn Endurance, which I also plan on doing, then I'll have 4 books for the total of March, and one was a novella, but it is what it is. I slumped majorly for a good 3.5 weeks there. So, and that's it. So this weekend I've got some plans. My daughter has an audition that could go all night, so I am anticipating staying up real late and have to run out the door. It's also opening weekend for the baseball season, which I love. I love baseball. I have to go birthday shopping for my nephew's birthday, which is next weekend. I'm gonna take my daughter to the library to see if I can get her own library card. I don't know that she can, she's only 10, but I was telling her that like, I don't want her to use mine because I need all of the hold spots. And 10 is already not enough. So I'm gonna go to the library. I'm gonna go to Half Price Books, and that's it. Those are my plans for the weekend. And I guess I'll also be doing some content planning, because if I'm not happy, I don't expect you guys to be happy. That's my plan. I also have a little bit of homework. I paced myself fairly well this week, so I only have one assignment. I'm really nervous about it. And it's only supposed to be like it said 250 to 300 words, but it's supposed to address 4 points. And I'm like, you're giving us less than 100 words to address each point. And I was just reading over the instructions. I'm really afraid I'm not going to understand it, or get it, but I'm also going to try and do that a little bit tonight, a little bit tomorrow. So I'm not like sitting around all day on Sunday procrastinating, which is what I did last Sunday, especially since I know next week is going to be a heavy homework workload. I've got 2 papers for my business law class, and that's just that one. And I am liking the business law class. I find it way more interesting than the other one, but it is just more intensive brain wise. Anyway, I'm just rambling. So that's my plan. Like I said, I don't think I'll be filming a lot tonight. Then tomorrow I'll take you to the library and the bookstore, and that'll wrap up the vlog. And I want to do a ton of reading. I do want to do a ton of reading. I want to, like I said, get to the 75% mark of A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. So I'm gonna go home and do some more reading tonight, and then also try and finish out The Bone Ships. That's a lot to do in 56 hours, but we're gonna do it. And I'm gonna go get my daughter and go home. But you better not cut me off. All right, let's go to the bookstore. Here before? Okay, we're back from our little book run. First, we went to the library to see if my daughter could get her own library card, and she was able to. So we've already got her set up on the Libby app. So I'm so relieved to know that I don't have to share my holds allowance or my loans allowance. So she's already set up. She's really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. So that was really successful. Then we went to Half Price Books, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, Half Price has been super disappointing to me lately. The selection has just not been great. At least my local branch. It's just been really disappointing, which sucks because like right before Christmas I went, and there were so many that I literally could not justify the expense of how many I wanted to buy. And then ever since Christmas, it's just been disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. So I walked out with one book from Half Price Books this time. And then as we were walking out to the car, I was like, I want to go to Barnes. So it's a little bit out of the way, and I try not to go there too often. But then I remembered that I've actually got quite a bit of funds stashed away on my, like the card that I get for my clinical trial appointments. They pay me for each appointment I go to, and I haven't used it in a while. So I called, and I actually had like $400 saved up. So I was like, oh, it's basically free money. So
let's go. So we went to Barnes and I went a little bit ham there as well. So I've got a haul for you. Now all of it is from today. I've actually been picking up books here and there. So it's pretty extensive, but this is over the last like 2 weeks. So first, this is from our last half price run like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I got A Magic Steeped in Poison and A Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy I. Lin. These are YA fantasy stories that have ties to Chinese mythology, which I have been getting more and more into over the last like 6 months. And I can't even remember what it's called, but I read another book by this author earlier this year. And while I didn't love it, it was a really nice palate cleanser. I like the vibe of the Chinese mythology, and there were elements of the stories that I liked. And I've heard that this series is better. So I saw A Venom Dark and Sweet at half price, and I picked it up and went ahead and just bought A Magic Steeped in Poison online because I have not been able to find this one anywhere else. So, and then also on that half price run, I got Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I don't read a ton of sci-fi, but again, just the positive hype and the good price. So went ahead and got this one. Then I was at Walmart doing some shopping for my daughter's birthday and went to the book section because I always try to get one book every gift giving holiday. And while I didn't find much for her, I did find a couple of things for me. And the first one was a little bit of an impulse buy, but well, I mean, they're all impulse buys really, but you'll see what I mean. The first one I got was the Ember in the Ashes complete quartet box set. And this is a surprise because I read An Ember in the Ashes and I can't say that I loved it. I didn't hate it. I just thought it was really forgettable. And I honestly think that that's a me problem. Like, I must be the one that's broken inside not to have loved that book because I hear nothing but great things about it. And I don't know, maybe I was in some sort of weird headspace when I was reading it. That was the time of year where I was kind of slumping and really having trouble finding books that I liked. But I was just so disappointed because it should be right up my alley. So in the interest of making myself like these books, I bought the complete quartet, and I like this box set. The editions are really nice. I'm going to be getting back to these. I'm going to reread this one, annotate it, and hopefully that will help me enjoy it more than the first time around. And then also on that Walmart run, I got Heavenbreaker by Sarah Wolf with the pretty sprayed edges. And really that's the main reason why I have become a big sucker for pretty editions. Is this the robot jousting one? I think it is. I think I read the first chapter of this and let my loan lapse at the library. So I don't really have a strong opinion about it, but I do think it's pretty. And really, that's about it. Now we're getting into today's haul. So like I said, only one book from half price this time. Although there was some temptation to get more, but I picked up Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward. I actually do own this on ebook. I have been just so drawn to these enormous chonker books lately. And this qualifies. This is over 750 pages. And I did try reading Legacy of Ash maybe 2 years ago and read like the first maybe 15%. And I wasn't mad at it. But as we all know by now, as I go through periods where I just struggle to like books of any kind. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it and no reason to DNF it. And I think that it could be up my alley. So that was the only one I found today at half price. Then like I said, we went to Barnes, and let me tell you, the temptation at that place to bankrupt yourself is absurd. So firstly, I picked up these Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Legendborn and Bloodmarked. They did have the hardcover of Oathbound, but I'd really like to wait to get the matching edition of that one. Yeah, and they're just so pretty. Love it. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh. So once again, consumerism and aesthetics playing a role here. Something that was not consumerism and aesthetics based that I've been looking for this book forever. Sword Heart. I loved this book so much. I read it right at the end of 2023. Yeah. I read it right at the end of 2023. I loved it so much. And I've been on the lookout for T. Kingfisher physical copies, and I don't know what is the deal, but my local bookstores, including Barnes & Noble, don't carry a ton of T. Kingfisher. There was this one and there was Thornhedge, and that was it. So this is another one that this is not just because it was the edition, it's because I've been wanting a copy of this book for so long. I have to reread this. I have to. I love it so much. Easily one of my favorite romances of all time. Then I got A Mask of Mirrors to go with my edition of Liar's Knot, which you can't see, but it's up here. Will you stop? What's in there? I got Liar's Knot at half price, and I've been looking for A Mask of Mirrors. Haven't been able to find it, so just went ahead and got this one. Unfortunately, they did not have the third book, so that one is probably one I'm gonna have to buy online. Then I picked up Fury of the Gods to round out my Shadow of the Gods trilogy, the Bloodsworn Saga trilogy. Nothing to say about that. Is this actually shorter? No. And then finally, I decided to pick up Malice. I had checked it out from the library because it was on my priority 2020, my 2025 priority reads list for this year. And I checked it out, and then I was slumping, so I let it lapse, and now it's like another 8-week wait. So now I can take it off and actually use that hold for something else. So, and that's it. That's everything. I did see Faithbreaker while I was there, and I was like, I pre-ordered that. Why is it here on the Barnes & Noble shelf and not at my shelf at home? And Amazon is not delivering it until Tuesday, which is really annoying. Like, what is the point of the pre-order if it's not coming on the... Anyway, so Faithbreaker is coming. I'm going to be reading that pretty quickly after, so I've only got 1, 2, 3, really like 3 books, maybe 4 physical books that I'm reading this month. So if I can get through those, then I plan to read Faithbreaker in April. And that's it. That's a lot though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6? Can I count? Stay put. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's not bad. 11. I've also got a book box coming soon, and I think that is supposed to be the Tainted Cup sequel. A Drop of Corruption should be. Maybe that one's not out yet. Maybe that's next month. But I've got some more coming I'm really excited about. I also pre-ordered the Ashfire King, but that's not coming until way later. But yeah, I've done a lot of book shopping lately. And I think with that, I think I'm gonna wrap up this vlog. It has been another kind of boring week, but that's just life. It's just life. And I'm still forgetting how to vlog. Like, I forgot when we went to the stores to vlog much of it, but I'm just rambling. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate you. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe, or consider leaving a comment down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me a sword emoji for my favorite pickup of this haul. In my next video, I will have my April cozy reset for you. I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then. Bye.